and the female in the relationship is wildly unhappy, wildly unfulfilled, and her needs are not being met at all. The male in the relationship is also unfulfilled, but not putting in any effort whatsoever to the marriage, which is the triggering part.
All of that combined, that's CLC. And that's unique to me and my needs. And those needs are unique to what needs are not getting met as a result of my goals. So here comes the duality.
Conscious couples, business partners, and individuals, welcome to the Conscious Couples podcast, where we share our life, love story, and relationship expertise to help you consistently cultivate the most magnificent relationship possible.
Never again will you feel hopeless and alone in your intimate relationship challenges. We'll help you have the courage to be your authentic self, communicate effectively, and constructively resolve conflict.
Having accumulated thousands of hours coaching, speaking, podcasting, and hosting live events with conscious couples all over the world, Alan and I are here to guide you in all things relationships.
Thank you again for tuning into the one place where it's not about you or me, it's about the we. Conscious couples and individuals, welcome back to the one and only Conscious Couples podcast. Today we have episode 191. It's going to be an event recap. The 5 love languages no one ever talks about. Before we jump into this episode, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Next Level Podcast Solutions for producing this show and so many others. Self-improvement, personal growth, personal development, mental health, all the good things, success principles into the world. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you do and for producing this show. Because without that, this wouldn't be out in the world right now.
Facts.
Sweetheart, ladies first, as always, what is your intention for today's unbelievable episode?
Oh, well, setting us out there. My intention for our unbelievable episode is to help couples talk more about what matters. And what matters are these 5 love languages, specifically conscious love languages, in a way that actually helps couples get their needs met more.
All right, so on this podcast, our job is to help you and your partner get to know each other so that you can flourish together and make your love last. So we've got kind of a 3-pronged episode here. So first and foremost, we had an event number 51. And it was exactly the same title, the 5 love languages no one ever talks about. And Emilia and I unveiled. So if you are a long-term listener, this will make a lot of sense. If not, I'll try to catch you up. Emilia and I, 5 years ago, we started doing this thing called Relationship Talks every Saturday. We called it Service Saturday back then. And now it's just Grind Saturday. That's what it's become. But back then we wanted to donate a section of our time to coaching relationships because we had this, basically for 30 years, I'll speak for myself, I had relationships that were not aligned. And some of them were more aligned than others. They weren't all terrible. But when I met Emilia, it was like, holy shit, I can't even believe this is possible. This is unbelievable.
Same.
I need to share this with the world because I don't even feel worthy of this. So that's the only way I can justify it. I'm kidding. I knew you were going to laugh at that. But I seriously felt, it was so good, I felt guilty. And it was like, we need to help couples become like this because this is the best thing on earth. We have the greatest gift because I grew up in an environment that had terrible marriages that just marriage scared the hell out of me. So we created something called the 25 Conscious Love Languages that was built on the idea that Gary Chapman has a book called The 5 Love Languages, and we did not think that that was adequate.
Yeah, and research that continues to come out on that is couples. I was sharing this with a couple this morning on the phone. A lot of people have taken Gary Chapman's work as like the Band-Aid approach, where if you just speak your partner's love language, then the relationship should be fine, right? But the research that's emerging is really showcasing where the conscious couples love languages come into play, which is it's not just about speaking the same language as your partner. Love is cultivated and created and nourished through the needs that we have and meeting those needs within the relationship. And so that's where the conscious couples really deliver integrated in a lot of the science that's emerging.
All right, so Emilia's been studying this stuff since she was a little kid, and at the event she does the slides, and there was a slide that popped up of all the needs, and there was 168 of them, correct?
It wasn't on the specific needs wheel, which is what we saw at the event, but what the research continues to show is that humans have more than the 5 basic needs that we think we have.
How many needs were on the wheel?
I want to say it was probably 100 needs were on the wheel.
Okay.
Yeah, but we have a total of 168 plus human needs that we actively aren't meeting.
Okay, so there's 168 human needs, and that is just accumulated from what?
A ton of research, primarily in trauma-based research
And also childhood
that
development,
looks
right?
at childhood development and early childhood neglect. And when you look at like the ACE score, so adverse childhood experiences, there's a lot of research around that helps understand like why have people had so many tremendous or horrible experiences. What is it that cultivated this level of a score? And when we really peel back the research, what the research shows is that there are needs of a child, of a young adult, of a relationship that are not getting met, and they're not getting met consistently, and that essentially contributes to what we call adversity.
And so at the event I said this, I said the idea here is to get to the place where you are so good, so effective at meeting your own needs and helping your partner meet their needs, and then meeting each other's needs. So imagine that needs wheel has 168 needs on it that we all have, and maybe in the future we'll do episodes on that. But imagine only 30% of those needs being met. Imagine a pie where you only get to eat 30% of it.
Woo! We hosted a group coaching call last night at Evolve.
Nice.
And Heather, shout out to you. Heather mentioned in the chat, you're only as needy as the needs that are unmet. She circulated that in the chat.
great.
And it's
Inspiring.
such a empowering quote, because a lot of people feel needy, but struggle, especially in relationships, to communicate what they need from their partner. When in reality, if you're feeling needy, it's likely because you have unmet needs, which connects to exactly what you were saying.
Okay, and if anyone listening wants to learn more about Evolve, what you guys do at Evolve, and the Evolve group coaching that you do once per year, where do they go?
EvolveVenturesTech.com. We'll click the link in the show notes, or for you to click, and we'll put that in the show notes.
Can you tell our listeners, you say Evolve in passing, like it's not a big deal? Can
Evolve is my baby.
Okay,
can
you tell the listeners about the podcast and what Evolve Ventures stands for?
Yep, so Evolve Ventures, we primarily focus in mental health and mental health recovery for anyone that does struggle and is a growth-oriented human being, struggles in their mental health. Mental health is just like any other aspect of health. But yeah, it's the sneaky thing that no one sees, because unless you talk about it, mental health is behind the curtain. And so Evolve Ventures is here to help people evolve their consciousness by breaking one limiting belief at a time. And so when you have a belief, let's say, for example, that my needs don't matter, what are the chances you're going to get that met? It's extremely low, if at all.
And that's a belief that can be created in childhood when your needs aren't met.
Correct.
My needs don't matter because my parents don't care about them.
Yep.
And or they don't know about them. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, of course. So, high-level overview, we use the movie at the event, and I'm going to go brief on this. But there's a movie called Hope Springs with Meryl Streep and
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones, thank you. Okay, first of all, fuck this movie. I'm kidding. This movie opened with some of basically the most depressing marriage of all time.
Oh, so cringy, depressing.
Cringy.
Yeah.
It was so triggering.
What not to do in marriage.
So Emilia and I, and it reminded me of a couple growing up that I used to say, you guys don't even like each other, never mind love each other. You guys, it's very clear that you two are not in love. You two are like ships in the night that pass, and she does the house stuff. You come home from work, lay in your lazy Susan and watch TV every night. And it was so depressing. And I remember thinking, I'm not getting married. This looks terrible.
Yeah.
And this movie triggered me a lot, but it actually is magnificent, and it does get better. And essentially the plot is a married couple that's been together for 31 years, and the female in the relationship is wildly unhappy, wildly unfulfilled, and her needs are not being met at all. The male in the relationship is also unfulfilled, but not putting in any effort whatsoever to the marriage, which is the triggering part. And she books a retreat for them to go see a therapist. Steve Carell is the therapist in this. I think he did a really good job.
Oh, yeah.
And basically it was the man begrudgingly being willing to do couples counseling.
Being dragged to an
Yes.
intensive couples counseling retreat for a couple of days.
Yes, and it goes from him being like, fuck this, to, okay, this is kind of working, to, holy crap, this is a big deal, and I either change or I'm going to get divorced and be alone.
Yeah.
And it really is super powerful. But anyways, we used this movie at the event. We took 5 clips from it as a warning of each love language and what not to do, how not to meet your partner's needs. So my question for you before we jump to the next section here, 16 minutes on the clock, is what do you think was the most valuable takeaway from the movie/event?
Big takeaway from the film that was depicted was on the couch at the intensive therapy that was happening, where Meryl Streep's character, she had said and pretty much professed what she's been holding in for what sounds like 30 years of their marriage, that she doesn't express her true feelings to her partner, and that she doesn't even know what he really deeply feels. And that is a really big red flag that I see more couples running into. They're terrified of expressing their true feelings, their true thoughts, their true, how they feel. And as we translate that over to the event, what I think the big takeaway from the event was that a lot of people resonated with that. And thankfully, our conscious couples have really tried to take an active role within the recovery of their relationship if that was something that they struggled with. But a lot of the individuals in the relationship talks event were like, holy crap, this is stuff that flies underneath the radar. And it wouldn't have come up in their conversations had we not brought that to the surface. There was one person, shout out to you, Bedros, one person who, it was his first time learning about love languages and the conscious love languages. And it was like practically a water hose, because I can imagine at that time, there's just so many like awarenesses that had his parents really had some of these, it probably would have changed his life too. So
at the event, I had everyone put in the chat the age in which they first learned about the idea of love languages. And for me, it was 29. I was in the gym and I learned about them, and I went down that rabbit hole, and who knew,
Cute.
You know, all these years later, we'd have 25 conscious love languages. Okay, so one thing that I did that came up for me that I want to touch on briefly is usually there's one partner who externalizes and expresses things externally, and one partner who internalizes more. Is that a fair assessment?
I would say you can make that. Yeah.
Because when we were talking about, I mean, the man in that relationship didn't share anything, never mind his feelings. And I'm the opposite. I feel like I share my feelings all the time.
You're a unicorn in that. Yeah. And I share that because out of, like, I've had a lot of male clients or men in general really express to me behind the scenes how difficult it is to even know how to feel or connect to, or rather attune to their emotions. So how can you share something that you're not attuned to yourself? You can't. It's impossible. And that has been beaten out of men. We've talked about it on this podcast and in the event plenty of times. It's been beaten out of men how to feel. So you're a unicorn in that, because you are very expressive and you're highly attuned to your emotional state in comparison to the statistical average of men.
Whoa. Okay.
That's why I'm real grateful.
Okay. Well, that's good. I feel like I express my feelings even more than you do.
You do.
Yeah. I need to get them out. You know, they're in here, and if you don't get them out,
good.
they get all twisted up. Okay. Second section. So the 5 love languages, we're going to give them to you, and we're going to do this sort of thing, and we got 12 minutes on the clock. So we're going to give you the love languages. We're going to define them. And then we're going to do an exercise, ad-libs. Do you remember ad-libs growing up?
I do. I loved ad-libs.
Awesome.
It was fun.
Nice.
So
Sweet.
for anyone that didn't have that, just essentially ad-libs, and hopefully I'm remembering the right thing.
I think
Otherwise,
it's ad-libs.
it's like there's a sentence and then there's a fill in the blank.
And
all you do is, like, ad-libbing is filling in the blank. And that's what we're going to have you do. Alan is happy. Alan is sad. Alan is handsome.
I was going for
right?
handsome. Okay, nice. Hey, hell yes. Okay.
That's great. Okay, so what we did to have couples
High five.
to have couples talk about this, which is what my intention was for the episode and also for the event, which was having conversation starters that all you have to do is just fill in the blank.
Yeah,
so
it's great.
We're going to ad
It's a
lib
great
it.
start.
We're going to give you 5 that you can pull away and talk to your partner about, and you can bring it up over dinner. You can bring it up in your phone call on the way home from work. Really, really easy. Just fill in the blank.
Hi, my name is Jason Blackstock, and this is my wife, Lisa. We got connected with Alan and Emilia a few months ago through friends, and we were trying to look for ways to strengthen our relationship.
And right away, we just noticed with Alan and Emilia how they made us feel so calm, and like everything that they did with us was gentle, and it felt so like we could let our guard down right away. And that was something that allowed us to open up and just get closer so quickly. So
yeah, I felt it was very easy to connect with them, and their intuition for our situation was very surprising to me. Both past and present, they just knew us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they picked up on things that we didn't even think they would. They just, even in our mannerisms and the way we would look at each other at certain points in the conversation, it was just really cool to feel like they understood us. And it really gave us all the tools that we needed to work on us when we weren't talking directly to them. So we had like homework to do and things to work on, and it really elevated our relationship in big ways. And I think we're both really excited to keep working with Alan and Emilia, because you're never done working on your relationship. And I just feel like that is, if we're good, then the rest of our world is good with our children and our 4 kids. So
yeah, we're very grateful that we met Alan and Amelia, and are looking forward to the future.
Okay, we got to crank. Let's
Okay,
do it.
let's do it.
Number 1 love language is proactive thoughtfulness.
So this is consistently thinking ahead about how you can show in action how much you know and care about your partner. So honey, let's...
Thank you for the eyes on that one.
You're welcome.
Oh, cute.
What's the example?
Proactive thoughtfulness. So the example we use in the event is I am temperature man in our house, temperature man.
Mm-hmm.
And I am always making sure that our home is at an optimal temperature for Emilia. She likes the warmth.
I do.
And she's not a huge fan of the winter. So in the winter, I got to make sure it's warm up in here.
Yeah, you were just talking about the fireplace the other night. How
Yes.
excited you are for that.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
so-
more a me issue. I love
You
the
do love it.
ambiance of that,
That's
the
true.
fireplace.
Oh, yes.
Luckily, it's one of the ones you just flip on, right?
So go ahead.
Yeah, no, we're good. So ad lib is what? I didn't know we were going to do examples.
Talk about it, Tip.
Threw
That's
me
okay.
for a
That's okay.
loop on that
I did
one.
talk about
Yeah.
that just before we recorded, but
Yeah.
you were the director and you wanted to do your thing,
cool.
so it's okay.
Awesome.
All right, so
what is the example? It's too much, too soon. All right, let's rock.
all right, so the talk about it tip number 1 is the top 3 things I find myself wanting you to notice more about me are
Blank.
blank. Okay,
All right. Awesome. I do think 1 would be better to start with.
fair.
The
Start with
number
1.
1 thing I would love you to notice more about me is blank.
Yeah.
Boom. Cool. We probably should
So I
do
was just
it.
going to say, so what I had done with Alan was, one thing that I would love that you notice more about me is that, like, I'm way more temperature sensitive than you.
Nice.
And I didn't ask him to do anything about that information. This is where the proactive thoughtfulness comes in. He was proactively thoughtful on his own accord to take it upon himself to become temperature man and make sure that I am warm all the time
Always.
instead of like getting really cold. And
Except for the one time you asked for a robe and I got you the skimpy one. Okay. We're going to move forward. Continuous initiative. You're like, that one's not warm.
no.
Okay. Number 2, continuous. That's my handwriting for you.
It's okay.
Conscientious initiative. I need to explain the difference between proactive thoughtfulness and conscientious initiative after the definition.
Okay, perfect. So conscientious initiative is helping to move goals or projects forward without being asked or nudged by your partner to do so.
Okay. Perfect example. I got it. I'm on it. I got this. All right.
Great.
Last Saturday, we have relationship talks coaching clients. Shout out to you two. You know who you are. They're getting married this weekend.
Yay!
Literally now. No.
No,
Tomorrow.
24 hours from this recording. But
yeah.
by the time this launches, it will have been...
By the time this launches,
They'll
you will
be
married.
wedded.
Congratulations.
Congrats, guys.
Holy crap.
I'm so excited.
Got engaged, engagement party, bought a home, got married. They're doing it.
I got so many good
So We had a call with them, and you woke up a little later than usual, and I was like, you know what? I'm on it. Yeah. I got this. I'm gonna be conscientious initiative. I didn't say that in my head, but I'm making that part up. But I took so there's chairs that we bring upstairs for when we do our coaching together, not these ones, and I brought them up because Emilia has small hands.
Yeah.
And they're the claw, and I just brought them up in advance. So little things like that to move our goals forward, packing the car ahead of time, all kinds of stuff. So
heck yeah.
Conscientious initiative, real quick. Proactive thoughtfulness and conscientious initiative. What's the difference? They seem very similar. Proactive thoughtfulness is about facilitating a great experience, making sure Emilia is warm. Conscientious initiative is about goals. If you have not yet listened to the last 2 episodes on goals, was that 190? No.
189 and 190, I want to say.
Yeah, 180. I think it was actually 188.
Oh, 187 and 188, actually. Yeah.
Okay, 187 and 188, we talked about the top 10 reasons you have to have goals. It's a lot. Go back and listen to that. Conscientious initiative is all about goals, building the future. Okay, 3 more. Let's rock.
Building momentum, helping to increase the momentum, and removing any barriers from momentum happening. So the ad lib on this, the talk about it tip number 2, is the one thing I find myself wanting you to take more initiative on is fill in the blank. So in that example, I had communicated to Alan months back, actually.
Yeah, you did.
The one thing that I would love for you to take more initiative on is remembering, not like going out of your way to take an extra trip up the stairs. I just know that
if you're heading
upstairs, grab a chair, right? Yep. And when I head upstairs, grab the other chair. So,
and I went,
you did both.
I'm gonna bring them both. All right. Next is conscious loving care. Most people say tender love and care, TLC. We say CLC, conscious loving care. The difference between TLC and conscious loving care is the conscious part, meaning it is off of autopilot. You are very conscious and conscientious of your partner and their needs and making sure that you are meeting their needs in a very specific way. So it's the difference between opening the door automatically because you're conditioned to do it versus my partner really loves it when I put the blanket over her like this and have the heat on a certain temperature and light this candle or whatever it is.
Cute. He'd be flexing. All right, so conscious loving care, otherwise known and hopefully upgraded in your language from here on out. If you're a conscious couple, we see you. CLC. Okay, so providing warmth, comfort, and support to your partner uniquely in the way that they enjoy it most. Doing so feels like a warm blanket over their heart. So Alan already mentioned an example, something that I told him when he kind of allows me to rest my bones, or otherwise a night where I'm like able to relax. He encourages me to journal, all of that, and he places that blanket over me. And then he brings over.
I got your warm
heating pad.
Yeah. Heat it up in the microwave.
And you always ask before you like come on over, like, what else do you need? What else do you want? And that just like all of that combined, that's CLC. And that's unique to me and my needs. And those needs are unique to what needs are not getting met as a result of my goals. So Here comes the duality. All right. Talk about it. Tip number 3 is I feel your conscious loving care, CLC, the most when you fill in the blank. So I shared with Alan a couple of weeks ago now, I feel the most CLC when you encourage me to journal at night, right? And when I can just relax on the couch when the babies are snuggling on me and you take care of dinner meal prep.
Fur babies, honey.
The fur babies. The babies with the fur.
So for Emilia, they are our...
They're my children.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they just have a lot of fur. So they're actually just furry kids. I'm kidding.
Sleep in crates.
Tucker, Tilly,
hilarious.
Tucker, Tiger Lily, and Tauriel. I know we do.
For sure.
Honey, I'm on
Sorry.
it. All right. How dare you? I want to talk about our fur babies. All right, here we go.
Fine.
So 2 more. The 4th one is called mutual mastery. Go ahead.
Mutual mastery is deciding in advance to develop a skill individually and collectively that you're both passionate about.
Like archery. You and I, you bought a recurve bow, an arrow, and we're going to do some archery.
So excited.
Yes. And that is an example. You can master chess, archery, boating. We have paddle boards. Mastery, getting better. Okay, how do you do it this way? All right, I'm going to jump in.
You flip me over, I try to get on. Okay, so the talk about it tip number 4 is I'd love to master blank whatever that skill is, together. Simple. Babe, I'd love to master chess together.
Nice.
Babe, I'd love to master kicking your ass in archery together. Just kidding.
Okay. Loving challenge accepted.
Oh, number 5 is...
Yeah, all right. So the other night I asked you if you wanted to play chess in bed. You said no.
I wanted to go to bed.
Okay.
But in the future, I'm really excited about that.
Number 5 is loving challenge.
And a loving challenge is challenging your
the
partner.
opposite of what she just did, which was an unloving challenge.
Not nice.
Yeah.
Loving challenge is challenging your partner to step up their game in a specific arena because you love and believe in them.
Nice. So this is my favorite one. I think maybe of all 25 conscious love languages. And by the way, these are the first 5. We're replacing Gary Chapman's, and the digital asset will be in the show notes. If you have not done this worksheet, first of all, now we have all 25 conscious love languages. We got rid of Gary Chapman's. And we have a glossary now that Emilia created that has the definition of each. Green, yellow, red. Sit down with your partner. Seriously. Green, yellow, red. Okay, green means it's very important to you. Yellow means it's kind of important to you. Red means it's not important to you. So each partner does this separately where you say, okay, loving challenge, not that important to me. Okay, sexual intimacy, super important to me. And again, these are hypothetical. Green, yellow, red, and then you try to find mismatches. So if Emilia has a green and mutual mastery is super important to her and it's red for me, we're most likely missing each other. Of all the things we've ever created at the Conscious Couples podcast, this is the most valuable. If you do nothing else with our work, download this worksheet and make sure you do it with your partner. You're going to find some serious mismatches. We've done this with dozens, if not hundreds of couples. All right, loving challenge is my favorite one of all 25. And the reason why is because I believe in you so much. I challenge you all the time. I am always like, you're better than this. You can do better than that. What are we doing here? So I feel like you push me all the time too. And I feel like I was always a pain in the ass to my past partners because but listen, if I didn't believe in you, I wouldn't be challenging you to become better.
Well, what is a challenge? It's an invitation. It's an invitation based on what you see. And sometimes your partner might not see what you see. And that's where that invitation, that challenge in a loving way is really powerful in a relationship.
The example that I used in the event is I have a relationship, I have a therapist named Carol. I had therapy on Monday this week. And this work has really changed my life. It's got me thinking about it's got me facing things that I didn't want to face. It's changed my whole life. But Emilia gave me a loving challenge years ago saying, hey, I think you're leaving a lot on the table by not doing therapy, by not going inward. And if she didn't have the courage to give me that loving challenge while leading by example, if you didn't have a therapist, I'd have been like,
Exactly.
what are we doing here? But she said, listen, I've been doing this work since I was 12. I had my first therapy session when I was 12, you said? 12?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right around
And
there.
you're leaving so much on the table. She was absolutely right. So thank you for giving me a loving challenge. And thank you for helping me become a better man.
You have always helped me as well through your loving challenge. So the talk about it tip number 5, if you see something in your partner and you want to invite them into that loving challenge, here it is for you. I've heard you say that you want blank. This is whatever observation, whatever they want, whatever they desire.
Can you use the therapy?
Can I encourage you to blank? I want to make sure that that's out there. So now when it comes to the therapy, what I had said was, I've heard that you say you're struggling. No.
You have to sell it. You sell it to me based on what I cared about.
Yeah, I've heard.
I cared about my
you
goals and dreams.
Yeah, I've heard you say that you want your goals and your dreams, and you don't have to deal with some of the crap that comes up in relationships. However, I recognize that when you get triggered, there's a lot that's underneath there for you. Like there's a lot of emotional upset underneath that, and that's okay. I'm not making that wrong. However, I think that you're leaving a lot on the table by not going to therapy and working through some of that stuff. Can I encourage you to consider what going to therapy for you would be like?
Okay, we used the complex one. Let's do a simple one with the actual ad lib. Because that was one that's a lot more technical.
Yeah, I've heard that you say you want to, what do I hear a lot from clients? That you want to be a better partner. Can I encourage you to consider relationship talks coaching?
Nice. Strong work. And if you want, no, I'm kidding. All right. So that is what we had for today. And I actually have on the list, the next thing is relationship talks coaching. So, all right. If you and your partner want to make sure your love lasts, and more importantly, not more importantly, as importantly, that you achieve your goals and dreams together. I see too many people that are not living meaningful lives. I had a client 2 days ago message me and say, I feel like I'm in a rut. I feel like I'm struggling. I don't feel like my life has a lot of meaning right now, verbatim. And I said, you achieved all your goals. So she was working to become a CNA, and this is a goal she had for years, and she achieved it. So now she feels empty because she's done with that goal. I said,
doesn't have overlapping goals.
The moment you hit a new level, you gotta shoot for a higher level. It's the goals that create necessity and meaning. So we're not just gonna help you flourish in your relationship. We're gonna make sure of that, yes, but more importantly, we're gonna help you set and achieve goals together and make sure you're building toward a future that you both want.
Speaking of, in addition to that, we have Relationship Talks event, just like the one that we talked about here. Our 52nd one, we want to invite you to. It is October 15th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That will be the last Wednesday that we have been going here. So it's Wednesday, right? And how to set and crush your goals with your partner is going to be that topic. So if that sounds like it resonates with you, please join us there. The link to register will be in the show notes, and do not miss out on that. That's going to be amazing.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we just went through some of the slides. How many slides do you think were on that total?
The whole event was probably...
I might be projecting.
Yeah.
This. How many slides do you think?
Probably 25 slides.
Okay. You just got 5 out of 25, so you just got 1/5.
50.
Okay, 50. Thank you. I think that's honestly what I was hoping for. Cool. I thought it was probably about 50. So that means you got 10%. In this episode, you got 10% of what everyone who came to the event got. Don't miss these events. All right? The recap is for people who came as well, because mastery is a process of iteration. So we talk about these. I'm still mastering these. This is a process. It never ends, okay? It's an infinite game. So Relationship Talks coaching, Relationship Talks events. Make sure you're there at the next one. And anything you want to add before we go? All right. Thank you all so much. As always, it's not about you or me. It's about the we. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Conscious Couples podcast. We love connecting with the Conscious Couples community, so please check the show notes to connect with us and say hello on social media.
If you and your partner resonated with this episode, please leave us a 5-star review at the link in the show notes and share this with someone you love. Until next time, it's not about you or me, it's about the we. We'll talk to you next time.